Hey, good morning, guys. Anthony, 4B4 Diesel. Yes, it is morning. We're going to have a quick chat. Look, I keep saying quick and sometimes it's not quick, but quick chat. The most important information at the start this time on which Prado you should or shouldn't buy, or why perhaps you shouldn't buy a Prado with a 1GD-FTV engine. Now, I know there's a lot of 1GD owners, including myself. Some people are going to get upset, but it's just what it is. This is the information. We need to help people out so they don't get misled and get sort of caught out holding the bag, while playing that game. What is it? Where you hold, what's it called? Where you get up and they take a chair out. Anyway, I've forgotten too long ago. You know the one that I mean, and you're the one left, okay? So we don't want that to happen to people. So you need to understand. Now, most people know by now that I like the 1KDs. Since before 2015, when the 1GDs came out, I said, stick with the 1KD for now. Let's see what this new engine, what happens, what the problems are. Let's let them iron out the problems before you get into one, that sort of thing. Of course, we've only got hundreds of thousands of people listening. We haven't got millions. So, of course, plenty of people went and brought the 1GD as they are. We can only help the people that want to listen. The saying, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink, okay? So, basically, we're just going to run through what a few of the problems are and what I would recommend you avoid if possible. Now, if you've got plenty of money, you just go buy a new Prado if that's what you want to do. I'm not telling you to buy a new Prado, but if you've got plenty of money and you need a tax deduction and it doesn't matter if it becomes worth less later, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just going to give you a bit of a review included as well. I still prefer the 1KD engine in certain ways. So I'm going to try and describe I've done it in another video, but I'm going to try and describe the 4 aspects of the engine. But that's after I tell you about the more common problems. Now, I think everybody knows about the DPF problem, right? The DPF, what the problem is or isn't, we're not going to waste our time on that. And the improvements that were made, who knows? All I can tell you is in Australia, the 1GD came out, I think in 2015, late 15, with the DPF. That's when DPF started on Prados in Australia on that engine. So you got to be clear, because other countries have got perhaps DPFs on 1KDs and no EGRs on 1KDs and blah, blah, blah. Some countries still use the 1KD. That's how good it is, right? But anyway, it just feels stronger. But look, talking about the 1GD, so DPF problems, yeah, we all know about that. You might think you can avoid it. You might not. You might think you got a 10-year warranty. That's great. But just think about it. If you're going to, anyone that owns a Prado, they should really be touring. For example, in Australia, touring Australia type vehicle, getting around, traveling out back, or you're out on the tracks, a four-wheel drive. It's a good value for money, four-wheel drive, although the 120 and older one's probably even better value for money. And being a bit older, you take all the care necessary, but sometimes a scratch and a dent or a bit of a scuff hurts less than a new vehicle. So something to think about, not wasting money. But even if you've got this warranty, this 10-year warranty, just the inconvenience. So if you've got a blocked up and DPF problems on a Sunday when you're heading up where, you get the picture. I don't have to waste too much time on it, do I? It's just the whole grief of the situation. Is it worth it? Now, some might say, 1KDs could crack a piston, but I would estimate that 1KDs are super reliable, rarely happens, and usually there's always a reason. I'm not going to go into the reasons. It's in our playlist, injector information. We've talked about it before, maybe later in the video, but they're very reliable. There's hundreds and hundreds of thousands. They've been out there since 2005. You're going to hear about the odd one. Online you hear all the bad news. So I haven't heard any for weeks or months, to be quite honest, at the moment, which is really good. But we've got some other issues on other vehicles. So subscribe, turn the bell on so you don't miss those. So you've got the DPF problem that could really, upset your trip. And then it's, have they got stock of parts if they're replacing it, or is it they're just going to try and force a burn? And look, you've got problems anyway, right, if that's what stage it's at. Then you've got the timing chain issues. We're not going to go into the detail. I think there's service bull and all that sort of thing. You can follow up with your Toyota dealer if you want more info. But the point is, you've just got, is it convenient when the vehicle's in the workshop, okay? When the vehicle's in at the dealer and the kids are trying to fix it for you, how many times it's got to come back to get fixed again? The situation that happens sometimes. Is that convenient? No, okay? Now, there's some other issues I keep forgetting about, okay? So the main thing is we had a 2019. So I'm a Prado Hilux specialist. That's what we specialize in, what we work every day. So I need to own multiple of these sorts of vehicles to stay ahead of the game, use them for R&D, R&TU, whatever the case may be, right? So, and learn about them ourselves and practice things and do things that maybe you shouldn't do or should do. Like for example, this one here, we've just put different suspension. It's got the heavy springs in the front, no bull bar, okay? And it's actually really good. So stay tuned on the suspension videos in that playlist for that information so that you get the right setup in your vehicle, because there's lots of different options on springs and suspension. Back on topic. So your 2000, this is my opinion, 2019, that's 4 years later. I didn't buy one until they had a 5-year warranty. I'm a vehicle technician, Prado specialist. I won't own a 1GD. At this point, look, I might change, but at this point, I wouldn't own a 1GD unless it's under warranty because of all the number of issues, being a new engine, being a smaller engine for a large vehicle. I mean, they say 3-ton towing. It's a 2755cc. It's not the engine I recommend. It's quieter because it's got those lifters. It's got, look, they're all in pretty new condition is the other thing, right? So there's a lot of reasons why, yeah, they're definitely quieter, less agricultural. 1KDs can be anything from quiet to a little bit noisy to, you know, they do vary a lot how they come up, whether they're new or later on how they've been looked after and that maintenance. So the other big issue really, in my opinion, I say it's an issue. Some people will disagree. It might not be too bad in Hiluxes and Fortuners because they're smaller vehicles. It may be suited to that, but up until they did I call it the remap to keep it simple. Now, a lot of people believe it's like a whole new engine and they've done this, that, and the other because they've read these write-ups. Now, let's just say they may have made some tweaks here, there, or the other, but it's the same engine. It's got a bigger turbo. It's got more lag, so there is negatives to it as well, but I'll get to that. The point is, it's a little engine, and in a 15, 16, 17, 18, until they did the remap in 2020, in my opinion, it's very gutless. Not just in my opinion, we lined it up with the old heavy 1KDs. We've done our tests and we know that the 1KD blows the doors off the 1GD, 0 to 60, 0 to 80, that sort of thing. What would happen later, we're not sure because we've got speed limits, right? But we did it a number of times, so we've got a fair idea. That's what's going to happen. That was our suspicion. That's what it felt like. Confirmed, right? It's just no replacement for cubic displacement. Okay, so the transmission software, the 6-speed, okay? It can hardly hold 5th or 6th gear without the torque converter unlocking, so the transmission temperatures run rampant. Check out our automatic transmission playlist and you'll see that the transmission temperatures are out of control. When they did the remap, when they put the bigger turbo and it got more power and more torque and all that, they also redid the transmission software. It's transformed the vehicle. When I purchased the 2019, as I said, it wasn't until they had a 5-year warranty. They changed the headlights, the front, so it looked a bit better because I didn't really like the back end round. I think, was it, 15, 16, whatever it was, they changed the rear lights, a few things like that. They made them look a bit better. I don't know if it was around 2018, they made them look a bit better. I'm not all over that. I'm not wasting time worrying about what changed when and that sort of thing, things that don't matter. But what does matter is around 2020 when they did that remap. We've got other videos where we've talked about it. If you missed it, you need to subscribe, turn the bell on. So you've got these issues. So whether it's the DPF at some stage, and it could happen later, it could happen when it's over 10 years. And people, think about this, people are going to watch this video, and when you go to sell your 1GD because it's 10 years old and you don't want to deal with the DPF then, well, they're going to know about it. And they're not going to want to pay a high price for it. So you're going to lose money there as well. Okay, and of course diesels are on the way out. They want to get rid of diesel, they want to get rid of fuel, they want to go EV, they're going to save the world by going EV, whatever. I don't care, I'm not going to give you my opinion on that at the moment, but all I'm going to say is diesels are going to reduce. I personally, unless you've got plenty of money, I wouldn't be buying a new diesel now. I'll be very careful what vehicle I brought at the moment, and I'll have more information in other videos. So you've got all these factors. So you've got the DPF that might let you down, you've got the timing chain and stuff like that that might let you down, and that's a major repair. You've also got this transmission software that's constantly slipping, which the transmission might just last forever. So I could be just telling you, yeah, it's slipping, the oil's good, you could do changes, but I just find it annoying the fact that the engine's revving and we're going up these hills that are just slight inclines and the engine's just revving away and it's not locked and pulling the vehicle up the hill. It's chewing fuel. This is one of the biggest problems. So it's not even about transmission protection, it's chewing fuel. So in my opinion, sorry to the people that have got one. Sorry you didn't find me in time. And if you're happy with it, awesome, that's good. But I'm telling you from a mechanical perspective and an ownership perspective, because I had a 2019, I was going to keep it up to 5 years, sell it at the 4.5 years thing, like I said, while it's still under warranty, nice and clean, in good condition. But to be quite honest, I won't say I hated it because everybody loves a new vehicle, especially a new Prado. But I very much disliked the gutless little engine, and I almost hated that transmission software. I think I did. I don't hate many things. I don't like to use the word, but I think I did hate the transmission software. Actually, I do. I hate it and I still hate it. And people are going to ask, can you get it remapped? I don't believe Toyota do that. Everybody needs to talk to Toyota and go, why is the transmission in the 15 to 20 before the remap rubbish, and 20 onwards is chalk and cheese? It's completely different. It just locks its head off, and there needs to be a customer service exercise bringing those older vehicles up to specification, because it's not just a little change, it is massive. It's like 10%, 100%. I'm telling you, they couldn't have done a better job. I am so impressed with it, and that's where earlier in the video I said things might change, okay? Because yes, this is a 2022. So they've had 7 years to fix any DPF issues. Doesn't mean you're not going to have any, okay? So that'd be my risk if I chose to keep it. Depends what vehicles are available over the coming years, because we're always going to have a fairly new vehicle to stay ahead of the game, and we will get other vehicles, but it doesn't mean we're going to sell this one. If we're still happy with it, depends what we can replace it with. I'm sort of hoping for, believe it or not, hybrid petrol option, because you're going to get really good range, really good torque. Anyway, let's not go into it. Very much cleaner sort of thing. Petrol hybrid is going to work out a lot better than a diesel, right? In power, torque, and fuel economy. Yes, that's right. Depends if they keep the right tank size. We're going a bit off topic. So there's a number of issues. There's a few other things as well. All these people talking about GVM upgrades and whatever. That a vehicle this size can barely handle controlling it. It's not about engine power. They seem to give more power, more torque, and more towing capacity. That's just a sales thing. You got to understand, you've got to have enough weight and a setup that's able to control the situation of what's behind it. And of course, that is on a sliding scale, because you having 3 ton, 2.5 ton, any sort of weight behind you is definitely dangerous. You know how they say for every 5 Ks over the speed limit, it doubles your risk of having a collision? Okay, well, think of it this way. Putting a caravan or a boat behind is going to at least probably double your stopping distance, right? It's going to, your maneuver, it's completely gone compared to not towing. So if 5 Ks over is double as dangerous, towing is about 100 times more dangerous, okay? Think about it that way, okay? Time to wake up, okay? I might be exaggerating, but do you get what I mean? I mean, 5 kilometers, it's only 5 Ks. I can just dab the brake pedal and drop 10 Ks, you know what I mean? In like half a second. My reactions are quick as well, but we can do all those tests if anyone wants to argue the point. You set up the driving course and I'll show you. But look, at the end of the day, it makes a much more difference than that, every 5 Ks over. So you could do 20 Ks over in a car and be heaps safer than someone towing 2.5 ton. Wouldn't you agree? I'm sure put in the comments, everybody would agree on that, surely, right? Anyway, even probably a whole lot faster. Personally, I would rather drive in a Prado at 150 kilometers an hour than tow a 3.5 ton caravan at 100 Ks an hour, okay? It's just ridiculous. 3.5 ton behind a car that weighs no more than 3 ton. Probably, you're trying to keep your GCM, the combination, down. So you've got your Prado down to 2.7 and you've got 3.5 ton caravan on the back. Hello? And you've got a wet road and it's windy and it's raining and it storms and it's dark and it's foggy and all these factors that come in. It is just so dangerous. People in clear conditions wipe these things out, right? Anyway, I'm going off topic, right? We're going on to a towing thing, but don't you just love it? All the information and how it just makes sense. I hope you do. Subscribe, turn the bell on, share it with your friends. It's time for everybody to wake up, get them educated, get them thinking outside the square. Okay, so you get the picture. 15, 16, 17, and 18. Look, the newer they are, the better they are. So 19, by 18, they made some changes with the timing chain thing, but that's only been a few years. So does that mean we know that everything's going to be okay with the timing chain? Not really. 1KDs don't have any of these issues, right? The maintenance is a timing belt. It's like $88. It's probably gone up. $100 for a timing belt. You can do it yourself watching my videos, but then you can just do the BFE kit and do it properly. Yeah, it's going to cost you 700 odd bucks, 800, whatever, with some coolant and whatever. And you can do it yourself, or you can just pay us to it. It's every 150,000 Ks. Cheap reliability, you're never going to have a problem on the front of the engine, right? 1GD. Timing chains and guides, in my opinion, it's just a matter of time before they wear. Even if there's not a problem with them, it's got a life on it. It's a mechanical component. A lot of vehicles have problems with, so I'm not a fan. DPFs, I feel the same about it. Unless you only do highway Ks, like this vehicle only does long runs. It doesn't go to the shops and back. It goes on trips, okay? It goes highway runs. It does way too many DPF burns because it's programmed to do it, just because of everybody else's average driving of all this running around. It could probably do a burn every 1,000 Ks or two, but it's every 300 Ks it's chewing fuel. Another reason why we're not a big fan of the 1GDs, because whenever they do that burn every 300 Ks, sometimes 250 for a lot of people, you're using quite a bit more fuel for the 10 or 15, or depending what software you got. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes to do a burn where you're using about 20 to 30% more fuel. That's terrible. So every 250 Ks, who hung around this long to get the information? For every 250 Ks, for 20 minutes, you're going to use an extra 4 litres per 100 Ks, or more or less, you know. Again, there's a lot of variables. It depends what software. You got the older one, the newer one. Vehicles aren't new anymore still. This one, it does it a lot better. I've got to tell you, if you want a Prado with a 1GD, I would highly recommend you buy a new one. Hope you got the money. No car loans. I've said it before. No car loans. If you haven't got the money for a car, then you buy what you can afford. You save the money. No more car loans, okay? No application fees, no monthly fees, no high interest rates, and no profits and commissions for the people that want you to take the loans, okay? Stop wasting your money. No more car loans, okay? Home loans, yes, you can have one, the one to live in. It's your PPR. It'll go up in value. It'll just keep you in the market so you're not losing money. If you don't own a home, you are losing money. If you're paying rent or anything else, I know it's hard for everyone. I'm not the financial advisor channel, but I've got some financial advice. So stick close. Hit friend to Anthony Prado 4B. That's me on Facebook if you want to be friends, because I'm going to share the information. I'm here to help. I'll do the best I can to help you on other subjects as well, but you need to follow the information to find out where those groups are. Even ask me on my profile when I post something, say, hey, have you got a group on this? Have you got a group on that? You can say, we've got a financial group. Yes. Have you got a food group to go out for lunches? Yes. Anyway, the point is, the 1GD, I'm not a fan of. Let's say when it was remapped, much better. So if you're going to buy a second-hand one, 2020 onwards, I'm telling you now, the vehicle is beautiful, right? The software of the transmission, beautiful. It does the job. Now I'm going to give you the negatives, and I gave it to you in another video, and nothing has changed from what my first thought was. Now, first, let's compare the old 1G to the new 1GD, right? So the old one, I did 60,000 Ks. In this one, I've done nearly 30,000. So I've got a good idea of what the difference is, right? As far as the car, the suspension, a few updates, you know, the bigger screen, Apple CarPlay, all that sort of stuff, of course, no worries. But we're talking about mechanically, everything else is the same other than under the bonnet. Let's just call it simple, the remap and the bigger turbo, right? Because basically that's what it is. That's the only things that are going to make any difference. The way it's not, because they shaved a thou off a piston or a port or something on the block. That's made no difference in performance. Even if they did, right? Even if they did. We're not going to argue if they did or they didn't, what they did. It doesn't matter what they did. It's the same engine. Where it's got any power and torque from is the remap, the tuning. That's where it got it from, okay? That's the only place it got it from. And the bigger turbo will help also. But they could have got it without that, but that'll help balance it out. Now, this is the positive. So the bigger turbo helps with the more power and more torque situation once it's off the mark, but it helps also with the lag. Yeah, helps make it worse, not helps make it better, okay? So with the, there was a bit laggy in the 1GD. It's a little 1GD and it's got a turbo on it. It's a bit, and then it gets going, right? But so, I'm going to do this in a bit of detail. We've got a few minutes to go, hopefully within 20 minutes. This video is a wrap up because this is longer than what I thought. I didn't plan this. I was going to do a quick one, but you know, it's just that trying to explain the information really clearly so you understand it. Hope you like that. Hit the like button if you do, if you're still around. Awesome. Basically, in the 2019, it had lag, but it was a little bit quicker off the mark. With the 2022, this one, the bigger turbo, it's very laggy. You put your foot down and you're like, mate, waiting, you know, and people say, yeah, the 1KD is the same, the one. No, they're not the same. They've all got it a little bit, but the latest one, and I've had another 4x4 Diesel Workshop partner driving them lately as well. And when I said it, he goes, yeah, that's what I noticed. The same. So, because he owns 1GDs and 1KDs, drives them both as well, like me. Guess what? 4x4 Diesel Workshop partner, Prado Hilux specialist, all of that, right? Yep, the man with the K. Some people know who it is, those that stuck around. He's totally agreeable from our last conversation that it's very laggy. So yeah, this is what happens, right? You're at the roundabout and you go, all right, let's go. And you put the foot down and waiting. And then it sort of shoots off like a rocket. So there's a big delay and then it launches. So strap your stuff down, people, because it just, it's not like the 1KD. To me, the 120, when I drive it, I get it just gets going sooner, it gets going nice. I can feel the cubic displacement now. I still like the 1KD, right? But I like this. I like it because, so the stop-start driving I'm not a fan of because it's a little engine, it's all revvy and perky, kind of like, you know, it's got the bigger turbo. Once you're up and running, of course, the acceleration's good. I love it for highway. So I used to go you know, one day later on, one day, you know, just because I can, I'll get a 200 series, and I'll probably end up with a caravan, even though I hate them. You know, Mrs. will happy with a caravan, getting around a bit more comfort. Yeah, no worries, right? So, but I've all changed now because the 200's gone, the 300's here. It's ugly, I don't like it. It's way overpriced, and Prados drive better, right? So for me, I'm kind of thinking, well, this says 3-ton carrying capacity. I reckon you're crazy to tow 3 tons, so I'll keep it as close as I can to 2.5. But if I end up at 3, I'll be able to say, look, I'm towing 3 ton, and I'll tell you how dangerous it is or isn't or whatever. It's going to happen not that far away, guys. So it's in the near future, if the world doesn't come to an end before then, which is also close. But that's a whole nother story. If you're on board with me for that, hit the like button, put something in the comments as well. Whether it's weather emergencies, I'm not going to, dare I say that other word with the W, 3 letters ending in R, and there's only one, what was it? Consonants and vowels, it's whatever it is, you know, A-E-I-O-U, you know the one anyway. And then of course, yeah, there's other things as well. Let's not even go there, right? It's pretty bad situation. So you really got to think about these things and plan what you're going to do. And you know, we've only got the wisest of the wise with me now, because I'm just yak, and I'm going to have to wrap it up. But yeah, the lag's painful, but once you're at highway speed, so because the transmission locks, you can feel the torque. You're at hills, it even pulls up hills in 6-gear locked really well. 5th, it would do it. Back to 4th, you got heaps. It would really tow well and hold speed well. It's not the engine power that I'm concerned about. It's the size of the vehicle, as we mentioned previously. If this is weighing, say I've got me, I've got my wife, no kids, you know, and the stuff in the caravan, this vehicle's gonna weigh, I don't know, it's a GX, right? It's the value for money, smart, wise option with all the space in the back. It's going to weigh less than 3 tons. It's going to weigh 2.7, 2.8. And I'm going to have a caravan. I'm going to try and keep it down to 2.2. Okay, not too bad. I'm happy with that, right? But you still got to be really careful. It's a lot more dangerous than exceeding the speed limit by 20 to 30 kilometers an hour in a lot of circumstances. It really is. Okay, so you've got to be careful. You've got to have some practice. You've got to have thought about it. You should do a driving course. They should have an extra license for towing any weight over 750 kilos. Just like you've got to have brakes, there should be an endorsement, like a jet ski endorsement on a boat license and all that. We all know that. All the people that are around at 22 minutes totally agree with me, already know that. Anyway, let's wrap this one up. 1GD, awesome. The engine's too small, so therefore it's tuned. It's really sort of perky like that. So it's a bit, it's not bad. A lot of people are going to disagree. It's not bad, but it's kind of, I'm fussy, remember, I'm too fussy. So it's a bit, you know, it's a little bit, it's not like the V6, like that all the time, but it's a bit like that. But once you're up and running, it's great, okay? 1KD, bada bing, all right, we're gonna wrap it up, and I've talked enough. Thanks for watching, hope you liked it, subscribe, turn the bell on, I'm out of here. See ya, bye.